Welcome everyone again to OCHATO, the fortnightly podcast where we drink tea and review manga. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Suellen.
And I'm Jade.
Every 2 weeks, we would pick a manga that one of us has recommended, and we're going to read up to a certain chapter and discuss the manga with a megaton of spoilers. This week, we are reading Grand Blue, or Grand Blue Dreaming, by Kimitake Yoshioka, and we're reading up to chapter 17. This was recommended by me. But before diving in, we must know the answer to the most important question. What is everybody drinking?
I am drinking puka nighttime tea, although it's still sunny outside, so it just feels wrong.
Oh, God bless summer.
Yeah, right?
It's so hot.
It is too hot.
No. Autumn is where it's at.
Oh, but what about winter?
That's
Winter's
too
the
cold.
best season. Ah, really? But think about spring though, all those lambs just prancing around.
Do you just have lambs in
I have lambs near, we have lambs near the house. In the spring, there were just loads of them flocking around. So we have like a field near where I'm living now, and they coexist with horses, alpaca, cows, rabbits.
I'm jealous beyond words.
Ducks.
Just
but
not
yeah.
fair. Mine is, because I still lack options, puka triple mint, although I'm kind of regretting it's almost too hot for hot tea. I would have had iced tea if I could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not drinking anything because I am fasting. So, I have the pass,
Yeah, respectable excuse. We will accept this.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about Grand Blue. So I recommended this one. I read it, I think, first a little before I joined university. And it is essentially a manga about diving, university, and incredibly large amounts of alcohol. It's a bit weird now, having read it before uni and after uni, but we'll talk about that later. First impressions, what did you think?
Right. So I have something to say about this. So before I even started reading, just looking at the covers, I was thinking, this is it, huh? This is the turning point of our podcast. We're here. We're here for ecchi. We're grown-ups now. This is the milestone that every manga podcast has to hit.
And it took us how many episodes? Not many.
Well, yeah, exactly.
About
I was like,
time.
yep, finally, boobs and butts. We're here. We're here for that. But yeah, at first, of course, I was a little bit skeptical. But after sort of one or two episode, wow, I'm just so locked in podcast mode. One or two chapters, I think I'm beginning to understand what sort of humor this is. I think first impression straight off is just boobs, butts, exaggerated facial feature that are hilarious, but also a lot of boobs, highlighted boobs and highlighted bubbles.
There is some incredible shading on the boobs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So when I first read this manga, I actually wasn't, I didn't even look at the cover. I didn't even know what I was getting into. But when I first read it, it had a promising start. This guy who's thrust into university, he's moved to a new place, and he's trying to start afresh. And it was interesting. I like the way they draw the faces, the exaggerated facial expressions. But again, the boobs. Oh my God, the boobs. Just boobs everywhere. Which is fine. Boobs are fine. Love boobs. Most people love boobs. But I feel like when I read on from the first few chapters, I didn't really click with it that well. I think I didn't get the humor that they were trying to achieve.
Boobs are great, but not your cousin's boobs, man. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you doing, indeed?
Yeah.
Boobs are great, but not your relative's boobs.
Yeah, I think when the cousin thing came to light, it was like, wait a second, what? What? Where is this going? Yeah.
To be honest, I actually didn't notice the boobs that much. Like, yes, they are there, and they are very much present. But it's not like, I don't know, it wasn't really, for me, it wasn't the focus. I was more into the humor. So interestingly, this was actually, I picked this by surprise instead of Full Cut Hero, which was even worse. So be, be happy we didn't go with that.
Like, again, is it cousins boobs? Is it just
No,
regular?
it's not.
Okay. Then I will argue that's, I guess,
Understandable.
in a
Yeah,
way. Okay. Yeah.
we're following the main character, who's Iori Kitahara. He's a first year at, I don't even know the name of the uni. It's set at uni. They don't care about the name of the uni.
I honestly, at this point, I think he's just going to diving school uni.
It's
What is peekaboo? Like, I only picked up halfway through. I'm like, wait, where did PAB came from? Is that the uni name?
I actually have no idea either, to be honest with you.
I have honestly no clue. I've just started accepting things that they say now.
That's actually probably the best way to enjoy it. Just accept what's happening. It is weird. It is quite over the top. So, characters. We've got Iori, who's our main character. He's not very smart, but quite funny. We've got Chisa, who's attending the same uni, same year. She's his cousin. We've got Kohei, who's indescribable levels of weeb, like puts the podcast to shame, and so on. We've got Nanaka, who is Chisa's older sister. And then I think we also have Aina, who is the girl with maybe a bit too much makeup on. There's a load of other older students too, Ryujiro, Shinji, and Azusa, who are all names, I think, at this point in the story. I really like the dynamic that some of them have going on with the kind of, particularly the mix between Iori and Kohei, where sometimes they just hate each other and, you know, they've got completely different motives. Another time they buddy up and they know they're on completely the same wavelength. They know what they're doing. But there were lots of other relationships in there too. Did you have a favorite?
So yeah, like you said, the dynamic between Iori and Kohei, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. I quite like them. They create quite funny gags when it's not related to the cousins. I think for me, I particularly like the seniors, so the Shinji and Ryujiro. Like, I like that there's this contrast between them when they're drinking, reckless as hell and nude as hell, and when they're like genuinely sort of supportive to other people when it comes to diving. And yeah, a lot of wholesome moments happen when the story is actually talking about diving.
Wait, when does that happen?
I mean, like, it catches me by surprise, you know, when they actually talk about diving and people's passion behind diving. But yeah, I think those two, even though they're served as supporting characters, just to sort of give you factual input about, I just love how they're so unfazed about everything. I think a lot of the gags worked with them being part of it, because you have Iori and Kohai just being the extreme side of everything and taking everything personally and being so aggressive. And sometimes they are, even though Shinji and Ryujiro, they both can be also that hyper level of muscles and but they're also quite good at contrasting them and deliver a lot of one-liners that made me laugh. So I would say them two are my favorite.
Do you have a favorite combo, Jade?
I think I really liked the budding friendship between Keiki and Iori and Kohei, because I read this a week ago, so my mind is a bit fuzzy, but if I recall correctly, Keiki was being bullied by some people and Iori and Kohei kind of stepped in and stood up for her, and I felt like she really appreciated that, and I could feel their friendship, you know, really growing, and I really, really appreciated that, and I really, really liked that. And I have to agree with Suellen as well. The seniors, the storyline with the seniors and their introductions to diving and their inclusion of people in diving is really, really great to see in this manga, because there's not really that much out there about diving in terms of manga, if I think about it, at least not off the top of my head.
When you think diving manga, the first one that comes to mind, even though it may not actually necessarily be a diving manga, is Grand Blue. at least for me.
Is it quite well known, this manga?
Fairly well known. It's generally been pretty highly rated, and if you're looking for comedy manga, it's definitely up there.
Yeah, because I was going to say the story actually reminds me of a mix between Barakamon and Princess Jellyfish.
How so?
Ooh.
So Barakamon I got from the little girl in Barakamon.
Yeah, Naru.
Yeah, just the whole village reminds me of this sort of place that Iori's just transferred into. And with Princess Jellyfish, I feel like everyone's getting Iori to try new things. And in Princess Jellyfish, they're trying to get the main character, sorry, I forgot her name, but they're trying to get the main character in Princess Jellyfish to try new things as well. So I think that's where I got that from.
Yeah, no, I get you, because in Barakamon, this whole sort of setting is that you have a close-knit community where everyone's sort of quirky in their own ways, but they're in the end very supportive of each other. The same with Grand Blue, you have Iori being sort of a newcomer, new member of the community, and you have all of these different interesting characters sort of come together and sort of trying to support him on the way. Because, yeah, speaking of the story, he starts at the beginning like, oh, diving seems fun, but like, oh, I don't think I can do it because I can't swim. Had that attitude, but they're saying quite a wholesome message that you should just because, you never know until you try, that sort of attitude, which is also quite wholesome. So I understand the comparison.
Definitely. I found it interesting them going between being really supportive of one another and like actively trying to sabotage one another. I'm not sure if we've had the bits with the girlfriend up to chapter 17, where one of them, specifically, I think it's Mitarai, one of the friends has a girlfriend, and they spend like a good 2 chapters just trying to ruin his relationship, which was, I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, but it was quite funny.
Yeah, this is similar to when the friends, friends who thought Iori has is in a relationship with Chisai, right? I mean, that's a similar thing, except also I guess in terms of story, my opinion straight off is that it's quite a mixed bag of wholesome moments and also funny moments and also continuous incest gags. There's a lot of moments I'm like, I've written down like, they're cousins. Why are you pretending to be boyfriend and girlfriend? You're cousins. And then again, Nanaka's boobs squishing against Idori's back. Again, they're cousins.
This is not right. You should not be doing this.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's not my sense of humor, but I feel like, yep. But maybe it's not my sense of humor, but I feel like if I were to rate this, it would be rated a lot higher if the cousin thing was just gone, right? They're just, regular people who just met and being weirdly in this situation where they have to pretend to be girlfriend boyfriends. Like, even then I accept it because, it's anime, it's manga, it's ecchi. I'll accept these strange circumstances. But the fact is, like, you have this label hammered on. They're cousins.
Why is this a thing in manga?
I don't know. It's like the little sister thing, right? Big brother.
Although they do actually talk about that a lot later, because we haven't reached it at chapter 17. So kind of mild spoilers for later. Iori has a little sister, and Kohei is like, oh my god, what's going on? And Iori actually really doesn't get on very well with her. And she doesn't get on well with him. And they say, like, dude, it would be really weird to like your little sister. That is just odd.
And not so weird to like your cousin. I see.
He's quite an inconsistent character.
I mean, to be fair, like, it's not like they made it as if they actually like each other. It's just that they never try to explain, like literally, if they're like, oh, are you dating this girl? And you could be like, what? No, she's my cousin. Like, done. That would be like gag done. Like, but it's like they try to find all the other excuses before, like, besides, and then the character's been stopped there. Like, it's always like, no, I don't want to date this guy. I'm like, but yeah, of course, he's your cousin. Like that should be the first thing, rather than being disgusted by their personality.
I mean, he has got a pretty disgusting personality too.
Yeah, but in terms of like, I did laugh quite a lot of points. There's like the oolong tea gag where it's like, oh, have a drink of oolong tea, and it's just vodka and whiskey. Or like the whole like, oh mate, have some water, and it's like you drink it and you just like light it on fire.
It's not water.
You can't light water on fire. What is it? It's so funny.
Some of these gags actually come up a lot later and with like a twist on it. So there's a bit later where one of them's trying to get a bar job, and they're like, hey, I'm a respectable member of community. Look, one, I'm wearing clothes, and two, I can serve you a drink. And so what they do is they like pour some water and they put it on the table, and then they just put a lighter over it. And he's like, see, it doesn't light up. They're like, what do you mean? How is this normal?
Oh, I love that. You see, so there are gems. It's just mixed with incest.
Well, not almost. They toe the line, maybe too much.
Yes. Yeah.
But they never actually cross it, thankfully.
Yeah. I think story-wise, I feel like the story is developing. It's just, I felt it was developing quite slowly at times. But I actually had quite a few good laughs with this manga. For instance, I just can't believe they dropped Iori off right next to the lecture theatre after they got him drunk so that he wouldn't be late.
I just wake up outside like 10 minutes before the lecture starts.
And yeah, exactly. And, you know, I think, because we've been through uni, right? I don't know about you guys, but I've never been so drunk in first year and then just got dropped off right next to JZ Young Anatomy. Just 9 a.m. Hi, I'm here for astrophysics.
You're being escorted.
For context for anyone listening, we did all go to UCL at the same time. We're in the same year. So we had a pretty similar uni experience. I don't know. I have had some people come to the lectures incredibly hungover, especially in first year. It was like a first and second year kind of thing.
But at times it felt like they were just hazing him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, I don't know how to feel about this. This is, you know, because I don't think I would like to just be coerced to drink every single night and get naked. But at the same time, this is a manga and this is not really representative of the real world. I also had a laugh at when they were setting up Iori's room. And
no, that's the best. That was so good.
I was thinking, where did they have the time to get all of these decorations for the room? For example, with Chisa's face as well, when they stuck her face on everything.
That made it. That was a peak for me. I was like, mate, what are you thinking?
It was great. But yeah, story-wise, I thought it was fine. I felt like the chapters were quite long.
Definitely. Yeah, that's partly why it was only chapter 17. When I was looking back over it to plan how many episodes we should do, I was like, 28's reasonable, right? 28 was not reasonable. Not for like, if you're busy. They do, again, come back to quite a few of the gags as well later. So the whole, like, how ridiculous their uni life gets. There's a point later, again, very mild spoilers, when they bring in somebody normal-ish. And they're just like, what are you lot doing? None of this is normal.
One issue I had, apart from the whole, you know, the whole cousin thing and the fact that Nanaka is like sniffing Chisa's shirt.
Nanaka's weirder, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. That's crossing a line. But I think it's a bit where they're trying to lift Chisa's skirt. I thought that was like, that's not cool, man.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, they're using like balls.
Yeah.
Like they were at a pageant. It was funny beforehand where they're trying to make her like blush, make her like embarrassed so that she looks cuter on stage, like on the beauty pageant. But as soon as they're trying to throw like bouncy balls at, so it will like bounce up and lift her like dress to like make her like more embarrassed, like Marilyn Monroe style. I was like, mate, come on.
Yeah, don't do that in real life.
Yeah, not to mention sexual harassment.
It is also sexual harassment. Once again, do not do this in real life.
Do not.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For me, it was never really about the like overarching story So I'm currently on chapter 50 because I got a bit keen and read a lot more. And I don't care about the diving licenses, like, at all. For me, it's always been about the way the characters interact. And as the story progresses, even really from chapter 1, they add more characters and you get more of these interactions going on. And it gets progressively, I think, more interesting the more into it you get, because you get these different combos under different circumstances, which can lead to so many situations. One of the things I think that does work really well for the humor is the art. So most of it is of a pretty standard, I would say. And then they have these just fantastic panels every now and then. Some are for comedy reasons, and others are maybe when they're diving to make it look super, super pretty. I really enjoyed the comedy faces in particular, with the heavy shading. Did anything in particular stand out to you?
I liked the way that they kept switching between the normal and the overdramatic art. I felt like the characters were very unique in the way that they were drawn, with hairstyles and facial expressions, and even their dialogue as well, the things that they say and the way that they react. I liked the art. I hope we get to see more art of the sea, especially underwater, because that would be quite cool.
Yeah, the art is definitely, it's flawless. There's nothing for me to nitpick there. I wouldn't be surprised if it seems on my anime list that the story and the artists are actually two different people. So I wouldn't be surprised that the artist is like a really skilled one, rather than just, they've probably have other works before on this manga. So it's very impressive. And they definitely did the gag well with the exaggerated features and the muscles. Yeah, it's definitely on point. I think I sent a screenshot to Jade earlier where I was just commenting how ridiculous the boobs are. It's not that they're big, it's fine. It's the fact that
it's not how normal boobs behave. It
gets in the way of her arm. I'm like, yep, that's exactly how boobs work. Definitely.
Wrong.
Yeah, it's just funny to see. But I guess, ecchi. There you go. That's ecchi for you.
We've got an umbrella term for this. Mm-hmm. I'd also like to take a moment just to appreciate some of the storyboarding on the comedy gags. So they have a few where somebody might say something ridiculous, and then there's just a couple of frames of somebody turning around slowly. And that kind of stuff is, I think, really underappreciated. But I love it every single time. Would it be better or worse if they weren't cousins?
Better.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would have less problem with it. Because I can't enjoy the gags they have when I know they're cousins.
What about if they were cousins but not related by blood? I think your look tells me all I need to know.
You mean like step cousins?
As in, like, if, say, one of their fathers was adopted into the family.
Or like your cousin from your father's side is interested in your cousin from your mother's side.
No. Like an adoption would be how it would be. So if say your parents adopted somebody else and then they married somebody outside the family and you had kids too, and it would be like your kids and their kids.
I would think of them as family, so I'd categorize them into family, and that's just a no-go area.
Have you guys seen Umbrella Academy?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I feel like we should.
No, exactly. But it's like the same idea where these kids are all adopted and two of them decides to fall in love. And it just, they grew up together. So it's like, but you're adopted sisters and brothers.
That's very sketchy territory.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
I guess they don't spend that much time, but still, like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely would enjoy it a lot more. Like, if they weren't cousins. Like, I'll be okay. I'll be like, oh, cool, this is just normal ecchi stuff. Sure. Cool, I'm down.
Yeah, it is a weird spin on it, definitely. I actually really enjoy some of the gags they have later between... Have you met Azusa yet? Yeah, because she has some great gags. Oh yeah, of course you have at chapter 17. Some great gags later.
Do any of you have a favourite character?
Oh, that's a tough one.
For me, I think it would have to be Kohei. I instantly connected with him through his anime t-shirts. Honestly, if I walked into a lecture theatre and saw a person wearing an anime t-shirt, hands down, I would just go and sit near them and start trying to talk and try to befriend them, because that is awesome.
I mean, Kohei definitely makes some excellent gags, especially once they start like lampshading some of the tropes that you'd expect him to be really keen on. I really enjoyed those jokes. I think so. From the first 17 chapters, then I think I like maybe Iori. I guess I know he's the main character, but he's just the perfect level of dumb to like work really well with some of the other gags.
Yeah, I enjoyed their sort of singular cellular thinking between Kohei and Iori. I guess I want to say like characters I don't mind, that I don't have a problem with, I guess, would be like Chisai or Aina. Yeah, I think they're quite, people who are genuinely want to actually, dive rather
They're,
than...
they're definitely the most normal.
Yeah. And like I said, I really like Shinji and Ryo Jiru, that duo as well. They're quite nice. But I think main character-wise, Chisa and Aina.
Nice. I guess there's not really too much to talk about with kind of the plot arc by arc, because there isn't really a plot.
They're all, on the journey of becoming licensed divers,
Are they though? Is that really what we're reading?
Yeah. I mean, it's quite heartwarming, have these moments where they really enjoy the sea, appreciate the vastness of the ocean and the art of diving.
Is the series completed?
That's a very good question.
I'm actually wondering if Iori and Chisa actually end up together. Yeah.
I would kind of hope not.
I think it's ongoing because I see like comicsology and Bookwalker,
Yeah.
they have like, was a semi-fast.
As of right now, the latest volume is 15, which was released in May this year. So it's still going.
You can read like chapter by chapter on like Bookwalker and such.
So we do have a section in here where we take one of the previous manga's characters into the world of the current one, and then occasionally age adjust them appropriately, because I don't think the kids from the Promised Neverland should be drinking this much. So say we dragged in Emma. How do you think she'd fare?
We're dragging the whole trio.
Oh yeah, okay, all right, let's drag the trio.
So let's say they're age appropriate, right? I think obviously with their personality, I don't know, maybe when they grow up, they could just be just like Iori, where they get dragged into it. But I feel like, do you know how they have these gags where they're trying to make each other drink alcohol? But I feel like because Ray and Norman are exceptionally smart, that their sort of level of tricking each other to drink, it's like a whole new level. It's like...
Kind of like Kaguya-sama trying to get each other to confess,
Yeah,
but
it's
this
like-
time it's trying to get them to drink too much.
I would imagine there'll be like entraptions, like Ray will accidentally step on and squirts alcohol in his mouth or something. Or maybe like people would go as far as making like a watermelon and it's like it's brewed specifically so it has like alcohol content in it. It's just people going like on absurd length, making each other to drink. And I think Emma, I feel like would be similar to Iori, sort of where there's like, oh, like head empty, no thoughts, that kind of just sort of all emotional and such.
Given how in what good shape she is, I could see her also being low-key the strongest of everybody, including the really muscly guys. So like they get super drink and they have an arm wrestle and she just beats everybody.
She'll be their favorite.
Yeah, I totally subscribe to your theory.
Yeah. And they'll probably love diving as well. Like, come on.
So I feel like if the trio of kids were transported to the world of Grand Blue, I feel like they would be sort of like the kids that live in Urahara's shop in Bleach. Maybe a mixture of that, and also I feel like they'd interfere with the shenanigans of the diving club. I feel like Emma would love diving. I feel like she'd be out in the sea at least several times a week. I feel like Norman would like helping out in the shop, maybe, Iori's uncle. And I feel like Ray would just be reading a book by the docks and maybe even teaching people. But I can imagine them getting on well in the world of Grand Blue. I feel like they wouldn't really have any worries there. I mean, they're just kids. So I feel like they'd be having more fun in Grand Blue than in the Promised Neverland.
I would sincerely hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
me
deserve it.
too.
I feel like
Yes.
Emma will be good friends with Chisa and such. Like,
Probably. They're almost rocking the same hairstyle.
yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
And no, actually,
Yeah, none of that. None of that.
on arrival of the three, just disappeared into the wind. Awesomeness drops, heartwarmingness drops, and bam, gone.
Strictly PG.
For the next session, I believe we're having a bit of a longer break due to somebody going on holiday.
Yeah, some
Yeah, who could that be? I wonder.
Mhm.
It's me. It's me. I'm sorry. So, we're doing a slightly longer set.
Yes. So for the next episode, we will be reading chapters 1 to 60 of One Piece.
Nice. It's probably worth mentioning that we did have a hidden episode 0 that we read chapters 1 to 30 of One Piece. So in my case, I'm going to be reading 30 to 60, but we will be discussing everything from 1 to 60.
Yes.
I was gonna make a joke like holiday in this pandemic.
Yes, mate. I'm actually going over to France.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we're going to a gîte in the middle of nowhere, so it's not like we're going to be having any level of human interaction. But yeah, we need to get away.
Are you going wine tasting or something?
Probably.
Everyone I know who's gone to France has gone wine tasting.
I can't really speak for this, given the amount of wine my parents bring back in the car boot each time. It'll be good.
I love
It'll be
it.
good. Nice.
Thank you for listening.
To this episode of Grand Blue, and see you next time for One Piece.
Woo!